looks so good. Is it there? I feel like it's gonna fall. Do you think? Yeah, it looks a bit like it's going to that side, isn't it? So I'm excited. Hi guys, I'm so excited. I'm super excited. Fleeks! Fleeks!
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and I'm with the lovely Nissy Tee. If you haven't watched the videos, I don't know what you have been doing, what planet you are in. Go to her channel right now and be inspired. And be educated, be beautiful.
No, people keep doing. I'm glad the slogan is catching on. If you don't know what that means, it's basically my slogan on my channel.
Yes, so. Hashtag be educated, be beautiful. That is so powerful. 4 words that are just really powerful and inspiring. So yeah, make sure you check out her channel, girl. Look at her looking all fleek, all curly.
She's all, girl, even you doing curly hair, it's like we're twinning. We're twinning.
This was not planned.
It wasn't planned. Okay, it was not planned at all. We're doing twins. Listen,
of course.
She copied. No, I think no, you've had it for long.
I have. What we're doing today is growing up with strict parents.
Growing up with strict parents. Okay, now this is a topic that I think even some people have asked me about as well. I know that another not YouTuber, subscriber sent in a question as well, where they were Congolese as well. And they were like, how they had like strict parents, their mum doesn't ever let them go anywhere. The only time, she said, the only time that her mum lets her go out is to go and buy a Maggie cube and fish. You know, typical Congolese. You know, she was like, my mum, the only time she lets me go out is to go and buy, you know, Maggie cube and fish and blah blah. She was really upset. She's like, I see all my friends doing this, doing that. But yeah, it was really upsetting. But I kind of grew up in the same type of environment. My parents, I've had discussions with my parents now, because I realised that when I grew up, because I'm the firstborn, things were very different to how they are with my sisters now.
Right, and they're more lenient with your sisters now? Definitely, yeah.
You think? 100% more lenient. I don't know, like, are you the first?
I'm the middle child.
So the middle. So then how was that with you?
With me, because me and my oldest siblings, we're all quite close in age. So the same way my parents were strict with the 2 older ones, same way he was strict with me. Okay, however, with the 2 youngest, it's quite lenient, and they tend to ask us permission to go out instead of my parents. But yeah, what I was about to say is, I think the reason why your parents were strict with you in comparison to your younger siblings, because you're the firstborn.
Exactly.
You're the one that they'll be looking up to. So if you go off the rails, best believe all of them
will go off the rails. It's true. My dad always says something. He says, okay, so I'm going to say it in Lingala first, then I'm going to translate. Okay, so he said, yo Nissy, yeah, as the oldest, oza mtu ya train. So ki yo olonge nanzela, but nyoso bazo landa yo, bango pe ba olonge nanzela. So it basically means, English translation, it means you're the head of the train, so you're the front, that front carriage. If you derail or if you go off track, everyone else behind you, all your siblings that are growing up as well, they will also derail. So, you know, it's a lot of responsibility to have, but I'm very grateful for it. But I think the main thing that I wanted to say about this though is that a lot of people think that is a bad thing when they are young. As you start to grow up, you start to realize that actually, do you know what, I'm glad that my parents were quite strict with me. I'm glad that I couldn't go out all the time and do whatever while my friends were doing higgy. Because what really, at like 13, what are you really doing?
Like, I literally thought like, no, my parents hate me, they told me to have a life. Literally, I had to ask at least 2 weeks in advance.
No, it's true.
Like, okay, no wapi.
Yeah.
Nani. Posa nini.
No. What? There was like 5 million questions alongside of it. But I think, like, personally, especially as the oldest child, again, it goes back to kind of like they were testing with me as well, because I was as the oldest, they weren't too sure how I was gonna turn out.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why, you know, even because obviously I was the first one, and when you're a new parent, you're very protective, and then after that you're kind of like, oh, she came out alright, let's just leave the rest of them to do whatever. But I'm super grateful. I don't know about you, but I am very grateful, because it meant that I did all the things that your parents always say as to the reasons why they've kept you at home. I read my books.
Yeah.
I went to school, I came back, I went to school, did work, came back, did homework, and that was my day. I made sure that I focused in school. I was just more focused than other people who kind of like, not judging anyone's parenting skills at all, but anyone whose parents kind of just let them out and kind of do whatever they wanted to do type of thing.
That is very true as well. And there's so many things that I wanted to do when I was younger. For example, I wanted piercings, piercings here, piercings there.
You even wanted eyebrow.
I wanted piercings everywhere. I was like, oh, this looks cool. I wanted to try it out. But obviously, knowing my parents, that was just a no-no.
Yeah.
I wanted tattoos. I wanted. You see, back in those days, you know those tattoos at the back. I even planned out what I wanted, like some sort of angel wings. I'm just
on your back?
No, like lower back.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I'm so grateful that I didn't do those things, because really and truly, I would have regretted it. One. Secondly, getting a job would have been difficult. It's really difficult now. So imagine all these face piercings and all these tattoos. It's just,
oh my
I don't think it's a good look either. Well, for me anyways.
Definitely. One thing that I'm going to say, okay, do not get facial piercings. If you're going to get piercings, do you know what? Do what you want, okay? Do what you want with your body. But just in terms of, especially if you're going to work in the corporate world, listen, just don't do it to yourself. Help yourself out and just don't get facial piercings. Me, I just have a thing with facial piercings. I just feel like it's just silly, because when you go to a job interview, they're already judging you already, especially if you're a coloured person as well. They're already judging you long time. And then if you step in with piercings all over your face, just help yourself out by not doing that to yourself. But that's just a side note. Yeah, I definitely feel as though, you know, you're like, when your parents do it, they don't mean harm. They only mean good. Do you know what I mean? They only mean to help you and to try and direct you in the correct path, because they know out there, at home is one thing, out there in the world, people are crazy. People will try and take you into different ways to try different things like drugs or drinking, and you know, we'd like to be like, oh yeah, but it does happen, and we all know it. We just don't want to admit it when we're younger, because we want to go out and explore like all of our other friends. But
and it's not really adding anything to your life. Like, for example, when you finish uni or school, whatever stage you're at, these parties will still be there. They're not going anywhere. They'll still be there. And it's sad to think that the same people that you left school with are 16, some of them are still going round and round in circles. So some may be like, 23 now, but they're still acting like 16-year-olds. Some don't really grow out of that.
Don't let that be you. Don't let that be you. Definitely, as you would know from the slogan, be educated, be beautiful. Look for more. Essentially, the slogan is just about being more than just what you see in the outside world or what you find appealing or anything like that. It's about being so much more. So look for more. And honestly, right now it might feel like the worst thing in the world that your parents, like from my area, I don't know if you guys use this word as well, but we say you're on smash. Yeah, that's how when we were growing up, you were on smash, and I was that kid that couldn't go anywhere. I'm not saying that my parents shouldn't have let me at least go some places, but it just taught me a lot, and it allowed me time. Like now I go out and I enjoy myself, whereas some of my friends are just like, oh, yeah, whatever. I'm just like,
those days where you just sneak out, you see 5 minutes calls from mum. Hey,
you know already. Me, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't even brave enough to sneak out. Me, I never had heart. Me, I was always scared of everything, so I never even snuck out. I always, whatever my parents said, I did. I was always so scared, but I would kind of like, maybe if they told me come back at 9, I'll push it a little bit. But even then, my heart, hypertension. Heart is also
beating. I mean, before I even get to the door, I'm already crying.
You're already crying. You're gonna be.
I know what is waiting for me at home.
But your parents mean well. Like, they love you. They want to protect you. You know, they mean well. So even if you feel like it's the worst thing right now, no. Sometimes listen to what they're saying. Stay at home. Focus on other.
Obviously, every parent would want their child to do well, and everything that they're telling you, even though it sounds harsh, is for your own good. And when you get to that place that you want to be, you only thank them. You're like, oh my gosh, thank you, thank you that I didn't do all these crazy things.
And also, I feel like the reason why your parents do that as well, especially, well, I will say it from an African perspective, from a Congolese perspective, like our parents didn't exactly, like my parents anyway, they didn't grow up wealthy. They didn't grow up in the best environments. They grew up in an environment where most of their family didn't go to university, didn't study. So when our parents migrate, whether you be African from the Caribbean, whether you be from, you know, some parts in Europe, Asia, whatever, your parents have the mindset of, we didn't have a lot, we had nothing, we are coming to this country in order for you kids to do well life. Not for you to go and act higgy and start doing nonsense on the road. Like, you know, they grew up in basically a lot of us, like I can speak for myself, grew up in poverty, grew up struggling, and they didn't want to see that with us, so they came here and expect us to do well. That's why they try to keep such a close knit on us.
That's true. And I think it's really sad when I see people not doing anything with their life. Like, fair enough, university is not for everyone. Not everyone's an academic, but at least 100%. Do something, find something that you are good at, and work with it. Everybody has a gift. You can't tell me that you're good at nothing. You going clubbing every Saturday, you just doing stupidity every week, it's not going to bring you anything. It's not going to bring you anything. Like, don't you get bored?
Like wait, if that's you and you can do that and you can do whatever but still have something like grounded and have a good foundation, then great. But if all your life revolves around it's just you going out every single weekend, I think a lot of the times, not even to get too deep, but a lot of the times it might be a thing where people are looking and searching for happiness or searching for something. You're not going to get it out there. You're not going to get it. But I think anyway that the whole kind of like the point that I made about like our parents growing up in poverty and stuff kind of goes into what we wanted to talk about, like the second bit that we wanted to talk about. So we also wanted to talk about today, we also wanted to talk about the idea of growing up broke, basically. Growing up.
Not everyone's blessed with rich parents. Like, I've been waiting for that day when my parents just sat me down and say, okay, Audrey, you know what? We're secretly millionaires. We're just trying to keep you humble. But that day till today, my 23 years of living, I'm still waiting. Hopefully.
I'm still waiting. Parents,
I'm still waiting.
Mum, Dad, no? Okay, cool. No, it hasn't happened. But it's definitely something that I think a lot of people are concerned about, and a lot of people feel, especially today, where everyone, especially now on social media, is flashy. Everyone, the new trainers, the new shoes, the watches, this, that's that. They have to put it all up on social media, so it puts even more pressure.
It does.
On people to make them feel like, oh, why can't I afford this? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? And for someone like myself who grew up basically with the basic, like my parents, you know, did the best that they possibly could. Like, you know, I love my mum especially to bits, but there's some aspects that still kind of make you feel like, oh, I wish I could. Like, for example, we never went on holiday every year. Okay, so sorry guys, we ran out of space on the SD card.
That's what happens when you take 99 selfies and you can't choose one.
So as I was saying, basically I just never kind of went on holiday, and France and Belgium is not a holiday. When you're Congolese, that is not a holiday, because you go there just because you have lots of family there.
To me, anywhere that I'm going and I'm staying at family's house, I don't really count that as a holiday. But I don't know, it depends where.
Listen.
Because I'm so used to going France and Belgium, it's just not a holiday for me.
Do you know what I mean? As we grew up, we went to France and Belgium so much that it just wasn't a holiday. So now when people say, oh yeah, I'm going to go to France, I'm just like...
Unless if I go there and do like touristy stuff, then I feel like I'm a holiday.
We don't really do that, do we?
I do now. Last time I went to Paris to visit family, I was like, you know what? I'm not staying at home. I'm going to go out. I'm going to go on the Eiffel Tower. I'm going to go Champs-Elysees and do everything.
Did you go by yourself though?
No, I went with my sister.
Oh. But see, it's a bit different. When your let me not even talk about...
Yeah, with your parents, that is just...
I said I'm done going on holiday with my parents.
Just making you do house chores in someone else's house.
Mate, we love you though, parents. We love you.
Sometimes.
She said that. The only reason that I brought it up was just because we kind of never had that experience of like, you know, we go on holiday together, or we do really cool stuff together, like going out, having loads of dinners out and that sort of thing. And I just kind of grew up doing things myself. If I knew, like for example, if I needed to go on holiday, the last 2 years I've been on holiday by myself. I worked my ass off, and then I paid for my holidays myself, because no one's going to hand it to me, and I've always kind of grown up in that sort of environment. But I don't know how it's been for you, really.
For me, to be honest, I've grown up travelling. Growing up, we didn't travel so much, so it's pretty much in the last 10 years where we've gone places as a family. But now it's just pretty much me and my sister travelling. I don't mind travelling with friends. I think I've done that once or twice, but I prefer going with my sister, simply because it's less stress. We live in the same house. We know our habits, and... Yeah, I don't know, sometimes going with a lot of people, it's just too much headache, especially girls. It's too much headache sometimes. And
if you haven't watched, go over to my channel and watch my story time video on when I got arrested in Ibiza.
I watched that.
Like, you'll understand what I'm explaining about going on holiday with other people and just being stressful. Okay, go onto my channel and you will find that. But yeah, other than obviously kind of like the holiday aspect and that sort of thing, just in a general sense, we just didn't have like a lot of money like that. Like we weren't like dirt poor, like, oh my gosh, we're gonna die, we have no food. No, like my mum always made sure that there was food in the fridge, that we had food. We were always provided with some really, really sad, horrible stories of people that literally just can't afford anything at all, from food in their fridge to anything. My mum always made sure that, you know, she provided for us the best she could. I guess we could talk about like what it taught us, being not exactly coming from like a rich background, I guess.
It has taught me to be humble. My parents have always told me from very young that humility will take you a very, very long way. Like, and it's taught me to be grateful as well. Like, I appreciate things. Like, for example, when someone does a small gesture of kindness, I'm literally like, oh my gosh, thank you. I'm literally like so thankful and appreciative for things. Like, when people go out of their way to do things for me, I'm really, really
in terms of the humility thing, it definitely teaches you to, because I think a lot of people that especially grow up in a household where their parents have a lot of money, their family have a lot of money, they feel very entitled, as though everything should be given to them, everything should be done for them, things should go exactly the way that they want it to be, because that's how it's always been. Whereas when you come from an environment where you've basically had nothing, you had to make everything from scratch, you had to start on your own 2 feet. You know, your parents, like I said, my parents did the best that they possibly could, and they've done, I'm so sorry, but to raise us, all 4 of us, they've done very, 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 very well. But in terms of just starting from nothing and knowing that, listen, I need to work, I need to focus, I need to push, I need to move forward, that I think mostly comes when you start from like where I started, because your ambition, your goals are set even harder, because you're just like, I grew up in poverty, I'm not about to die in poverty and my kids to be raised in poverty and for them to go through exactly the same thing. There's no way.
Be able to push yourself in every single area of life, be able to work hard and strive for the best. Reminder will always be there of where you started from, and then you need to know that if plan A doesn't go the way you want it to, it's not the end of the world. You can make things happen in a different way, and sometimes when things don't work out for you, it's actually a blessing in disguise. So it's taught me as well to take the good out of every situation, and that is something that I'm still trying to do today.
That's definitely a massive factor. I guess you learn to kind of make do with what you have and what's around you. So even when, like you said, things don't go right, you kind of learn to, okay, cool, it hasn't gone right, I just have to refocus, just because you're kind of used to it. You're used to, like I said before, things not being handed to you, things not being easy, things not being so simple. And when you're younger, especially, I feel like you feel it a lot more when you're younger, just because you're comparing your life with other people. But then as you grow older, and I feel like a lot of it's got to do with confidence as well. When you start to gain a sense of confidence in yourself and you start to believe in yourself more, that's when you start to think, do you know what, I don't even care about what they have, what they're doing, about how much money they have. At the end of the day, I'm going to do what I need to do in order to also have a very good life and to be able to, you know, make a certain amount of money or have the things that I've never been able to have. So it all comes as part of the process. But I think, you know, people that have even messaged me about not having everything, don't feel like you have to have everything right now. You don't.
All these people that you're seeing, you know, with flashy stuff, you don't know how long it took them to get those things. Some people really work hard behind the scenes. Just because they're not showing that they're behind the scenes, it doesn't mean that they didn't struggle. Whereas there are some people that want the fast life and, you know, just to flash things, but still don't let that bother you. Don't let it make you feel like you're worth nothing. Because I'm telling you, most of these people are just stunters. It's just for the gram. They're doing it all for the gram. If you look at how these people live, I'm telling you, you'll be like, Lord, thank you for my life, because I don't have to do that to get attention.
Like, and the fact is that is more about your, like, how you feel about yourself in the inside. The fact that you feel as though you have to do all of these things to prove a point shows what's going on within yourself. Like, it shows that number one, you might be very shallow, and number two, that you're trying to fill a void or something that's going on within yourself by doing flashy for everybody. Like, I'm not saying, like I always say, listen, however people want to live their lives is how you want to live your life.
Definitely.
I'm not going to judge you. I'm just going based on what I feel I see and what I feel when, you know, I come into contact with these sort of people. It's just about, and a lot of the time it's people that had nothing that can end up like that. A lot of the time, people that literally grew up, like, you know, in like the Gar and like in just, you know, poor areas or whatever, feel like, well, do you know what, I don't want to live this life. So they're like, do you know what, I'm going to go right on the other end of the spectrum and start doing flashy and showing off their cars and their Giuseppes and this and that and that. And it's not necessary. It's going to give you happiness for what, 2.5 seconds, and then after that, then what? Do you know what I mean? Like, though, another point that I really wanted to make was that growing up kind of broke and growing up not having all the things I wanted made me really good with DIY. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Do it your damn self. I always say this now. Sometimes you have to. It's so true. Like, honestly, I have learnt to DIY so much stuff from clothes. Literally, people always used to mention how, like, they thought I had a massive wardrobe. I don't. What I do is I will take clothes that I've had for a little while, and then after a while I will chop them up, sew them up in different ways, and then people will think that, yeah, it's something different. So I've done that with tops, like tops that were once just normal tops. I would open them up and make them into those, you know, those little Bardot. Kind of Bardot tops. Dresses that I made into skirts. I've revamped so much. Now obviously
I haven't been like that with clothes, but I think I'm like that with hair. So
oh yeah,
I'm like that with hair.
I don't know why.
Really?
Until now I got like this. I made this with myself. I've learnt to do it, but before I just never used to be good.
Oh yeah, I've just done that with hair. Like this hair, I've literally had it for over a year.
Really?
And then I made it into a wig. Most of my hair, I would just, I don't know, I'll just do something and then it just turns into something else.
Yeah.
With clothes now, I'm not good to DIY with clothes, but what I do, I don't shop in all these like big name brands, you know. Sometimes I may just go Primark, and it's the way that you put things together that makes it look good. I know people who dress from Versace from head to toe.
Listen, we're Congolese, so yes, we're telling you the truth.
Wearing brands that I've never heard of. Yoshi Yamamoto, Sokipe, Yoshi Kazamoto. I don't know. You're wearing all these brands, all these Japanese, China. I don't know. They're just wearing all these like proper expensive designers.
Yeah.
From head to toe, yet you look like crap. And secondly, you go to their house, it's dirty. You look in their fridge, zero.
She said, you look in their fridge, zero.
There's nothing, like, there's not even mineral water.
Ah, my way.
And I think that's really sad.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's good to look good. Yeah, look presentable.
100%.
But go according to what you have.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, do not run yourself broke to impress people that don't even care.
Don't do it. There's absolutely no point, you know. And I think it is a mentality that we're starting to build just because of, it is literally just because of the society that we live in now. Everyone wants to do show and image and all this kind of stuff, but it is so irrelevant. It's so irrelevant. As long as you look good. Me as well. Primark, places like H&M. Obviously I do, yeah, I love places like, you know, high street brands like Zara, Topshop. I love all of them.
Obviously,
all those high street brands.
There, but
yeah, but
doesn't mean you're gonna go spend fortunes.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not really a designer person. I've mentioned it even in my Congolese tag. That's another one. Go and watch that. Yeah. But even in my Congolese tag, I mentioned how I'm not really a designer person. I've never gone to a shop and bought Louis, bought Gucci or whatever. I'm not gonna lie to you. People have bought it for me. Hey.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But those were gifts, and obviously I'm going to accept the gift. But other than that, I'm not going to go to a shop and buy it, because right now my pocket is not looking at that, and I'm not going to kill myself and do overdraft just so that I can have a nice bag. No, because I'm going to look nice now, look presentable, and then make enough money so that in the future, if I do want to buy it, I can, and I won't have to worry about, damn, I'm not even going to be able to put food in the fridge or something like that.
You're going to be able to pay the bills, like.
Do you know what I mean? So, but
get your priorities in order.
Get your priorities correct. I've learned how to just DIY and to make do with what I've got, because I've never had like a great amount of money. But one day I look back and I have a story to tell and say, of course, I know where I started.
That's the best thing, you know, when you've reached a certain point in life and you look back and like, oh my days, like I've actually come from far. Like when I graduated from university, I was like, oh my days, like it was me in 1998 when I came. I was 6 years old. I couldn't speak no word of English. I was in school? I think I was like year 1. People calling me French fries.
Oh my gosh, seriously?
Yeah, because I came straight from France.
So cruel,
I came straight from France, but luckily my teacher, she was Canadian and she spoke French.
Oh,
so she really helped me, and I learned English really.
I want to say to anyone out there that might be feeling, especially young people, like whether you be girls and especially boys, I feel like there's so much pressure on boys these days to be a particular type of way. Oh, you have to be driving a car. Oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. Don't go by anyone else's rules. You just follow your own path and do your own things. They might be doing something stupid to get that car.
There's AC scams. People still do that.
Of course they do. Come on now. You're doing AC, you're doing fraud, you're doing, you know, you're selling
just ruining your credit rating for no reason.
Remember stuff like this.
It comes to get a mortgage.
This is another thing.
You're going to be staring at the bank like this.
You're going to be looking at them like, when they're looking at you saying your credit is terrible, you can't put down a mortgage. What are you going to do then? It's all things that you need to think about. And people these days, they want immediate gratification. They want everything to come to them now. Don't think like that. Think long term.
Definitely.
Think long term. So just don't feel as much pressure. And if you're broke now, trust me, work hard, focus, and just say to yourself, well, I'm broke now, but I'm not going to be broke forever. And just have a clear path as to how you're going to get there. So
it's all about the words that you speak as well. Speak positivity into your life. The power of the tongue. Your words are really powerful. They can even make you or break. Yeah, this was such a fun video.
I love it. I love this girl. She's so cool. And I love meeting. Do you know the fact is that she's Congolese? As in, I don't know where. I grew up with, like, did I even grow up with Congolese friends? I might have grown up with like one or two Congolese friends, and now I'm just discovering a whole
all these people. It's done. Oh, especially, I live in a village. Yeah, I literally live in a village. So when I first came to the UK, there weren't many Congolese people around, and I just started discovering Congolese people not too long ago.
We're coming out now.
Especially like growing up, my parents didn't want me to be involved in the Congolese community.
That's a story for another day. I think.
Yeah.
Let's not even go on there because I have a lot to say about that.
Oh, I actually do. They did not want me to be involved with any Congolese person.
Oh my days. Yeah.
So I'll say it's been the past, 4 years or so. I've just been wiggling my way through.
And we're incredible people, honestly. Like, there's so many of us that are working hard, that are doing so many amazing things, but there's a lot of negative stuff. I think maybe it's because of our parents' generation, but our generation, mate, we're killing it. We're actually killing it. So.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of Congolese people doing really well. I'm just so proud. I'm like, oh man. But I just wish that there would be more support within the community. But that's for another day as well.
Don't mind that one. But yeah, thank you so much for having me on your channel.
Thank you for coming, man. She came all the way from east to west. Well, let's say outskirts of London.
I thought I was going to start seeing trams. I'm not going to lie. I was like, if I see a tram, I'm done. Okay?
I don't even live that far. I don't know why people complain all the time. Bye. Bisous, bisous, bisous.
Bye.
Au revoir, au revoir.
We just didn't.
Coming or what?